It's day 3 of free agency. I'm late to the party, but better late than fucking never, man. What's up? It's your boy Cintron. Come back at you with another reaction slash news slash analysis video. And I kid you not, that's my real name. And I'm excited because, man, I've been out of commission, been under the weather. Excuse my dramatics. I'm just excited to be making a fucking video, you know what I'm saying, instead of doing lives and whatever. But I'm back and I'm on this Eagles like right on rice, man. Love these boys. But let's get into the free agency first. Signings of the Eagles and then some of the bigger and more minute signings around the league because we're going to go all the way around this bitch. So let's get it started. So first, let's look at the position here that means the least. Not to minimize it, but Rashad Penny coming from the Seattle Seahawks signed a 1-year, $1.35 million deal that includes $600,000 guaranteed. And this is a big signing, and it shows you where the priorities lie with the Eagles. Running backs are obviously don't rank high on the hierarchy of must-dos. So they were going to bring in somebody. We're letting Miles Sanders go. Obviously, it's a sign of that, and it's a very cheap deal. And he's stayed healthy during none of his 5 pro football seasons throughout the course of the year. He was on a hot streak last year and a very hot one in 2021. With I think like maybe a 7-point yard average, but at least like a 5 or 6 last year as well before he broke his tibia and was out for the season. But he has huge upside, so this is a huge signing for the Eagles. He's 5'11", 220, and he brings a lot to the backfield. He might actually be the starting back in name only because we're gonna play Gainwell so much as well. But big steal potentially here for the Eagles with a big risk, the injury, but the reward being a highly productive season behind that star-studded offensive line. Next, Boston Scott agreed to a 1-year, $2 million deal. I think that was the same deal he had last year, maybe. And a big key cog with him being a number 3, and with the Eagles, they're gonna get rotational carries. At least was what he showed last season. Previous season, he was suddenly used, but we more so used him coming off the bench and dispel the starter and in spots, with Gainwell, but more so in the playoffs, we use him sparingly, but holds a key, role there. Could be bigger if someone gets hurt, like let's say for example Rashard Penny, and we have to lean on him. Jason Kelce, the big signing, the re-signing here, 1 year, $14.25 million. $500,000 in incentives. Where the fuck are we getting this money from? I don't know, but I'm so glad that we were able to re-sign him and bring him back into the fold. This makes the season because you can't have a great line without Kelce. And if this is last hurrah, then let's let him go out with a bang and try and get another chip, man. And as we can see here, man, some things are being put in motion to try and reload, but not completely restock the cupboard with what we had. We'll get to some guys that we lost in a second. Brandon Graham re-signing on a 1-year deal worth up to $6 million. So this shows that his heart was really in the right place. Here in Philly, he wanted to stay. Obviously, he was going to get more if he left, but the Cleveland Browns with former defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz beckoning him to come over, but he stayed, and it just really makes sense. He's 36. And, one last hurrah with the squad, and, probably minus Fletcher Cox, but a lot of those guys will still be in place. Lane Johnson, Brandon Graham, and then Jason Kelce trying to, make it one last go for the good old boys before they head off into their, prospective pastures. Maybe Brandon Graham another year. Kelce probably, most likely bowing out of the game after this year. But we'll see, who knows, maybe invigorated for another year. That's wishful thinking at this point, but you can't hurt. James Bradbury, the real surprise signing here. But, like some people said, on the interwebs, the longer it went without him, and a guy we'll mention in a second, getting contract offers as far as, ones that we knew about, ones that were heavily publicized, but without them getting a contract, signing a contract with other teams, the more it became likely that they would re-sign. And that's just what happened. 3 years, $38 million. And max value of $44 million, so he can come out with almost 14.8 or something like that a season. Don't do me on the math because I'm not really good with that. But just excellent, priority signing. He could have gotten more. He said, a couple teams approached him with more, but he really wanted to stay here with Philly, a team that knows him, with a solid nucleus, to challenge for the throne, to challenge to go to, for the right to go to the Super Bowl in the next couple of seasons, which, matches up. He's 29, I think, and he'll be 32 by the end of this contract, the time the contract finishes. And it gives him a solid window to really, suss out this team. And, Jalen Hurts having a solid core, just not, the quarterback, but, a lot of positions, young, talented, and with, knowledge of Super Bowl experience now from this past season gives you a solid chance to challenge for the throne. And, all you guys want is, a mix of both. They can have, in a perfectly balanced world, a chance to win a chip as well as being, paid, heavily compensated, for your talents. And, you get a good mix here. So, great that we were able to re-sign him. I honestly thought he was out the fucking door, to be honest. And I have hope now that CJG, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, is going to be back in midnight green. We'll see. This probably is a make or break day. How he has to get something in ink, in writing, saying that, hey, this is the number we want you at. These are the number of years. These are the incentives. These are the guarantees. Are you willing to sign for this amount? We'll see. But I'm hopeful because, man, this is huge. If we can bring out 3/4 of that secondary, I believe Slay's on his way to stay. And I'm not trying to pun that up or rhyme, but it just happened to, deuce out like that. Shout out to Deuces. I'm messing up his, nickname, whatever. But yeah, CD Ducey. There we go. But I believe Slay will have the incentive to stay because your backfield mates are coming back, and you still have that high level of talent you were losing. But with what we're bringing back, we still have can have at the very least an above average defense. We still can, we won't match that defense in sacks, definitely not number of sacks, but in talent, we can come close. And that's all you need with hopefully what they build into a juggernaut offense. Rashad Penny kind of throws some doubt on that, but I'm hopeful that we draft a guy to come in behind a mid-round pick at running back and still target a corner, well, hopefully not just a corner, but 2 in this draft to bring into the fold and to train up as a new generation. As Slay most likely will be on his way out if he stays without an extension. I don't think they're going to extend him. We'll see. But we also let 2 of our linebackers go. Kazir White, I saw that happening because I'm just like, we didn't value him. We don't value the position as well anyway. But linebacker position, he played solidly last year. Didn't really put him in positions to succeed all the time with Jonathan Gannon as the coordinator. Watch past videos, you can see my gripes with him. I don't, him being and coaching in this league, they don't mix, especially with all the talent you had this year. Compare Steve Spagnuolo and the rookies he had, at times 3 out of 4 positions manning, those positions in the secondary, to you having a veteran-laden secondary in Philadelphia, and you couldn't trust these guys. They have dozens of years of experience combined in the league, and you couldn't trust these guys. That says it all. Damn it. But and also we let I think Kazir White, he got $11 million over 2 years. He went to the Cardinals, I want to say, and T.J. Edwards went to the Bears, $18 million over 3 years. So we weren't gonna match that, and we can improve upon him, but he was a solid linebacker for us. Let's not get that twisted. 159 tackles, was in good position when we put him in positions to succeed as well. And he didn't take a lot of false steps. Ran a 4.8, at the combine, or maybe 4.9. But you wouldn't find many linebackers that processed the game faster than him last season. So those are the signings as of now. Hopefully, if we get CJ Gardner-Johnson, I'll be fine with everything else. I figured we're gonna lose Isaac Seumalo. I figured that we're gonna lose Javon Hargrave. Didn't want him to go to the 49ers. That hurt, but I'm just like, we'll see you in the postseason, most likely. Hopefully. We'll deal with you there. But they strengthened that line definitely. And looking for some compensatory picks coming in next year because, we re-signed like 1, 2, 3, 4 of our guys. And then Rashad Penny is the only incoming free agent that wasn't a release that we signed that would count against the compensatory pick calculation formula. So, all right, but let's get into some other stuff around the league, man. All right, we'll start at the top here at the NFC East. Connor McGovern coming over from the Cowboys. Yes, weekend at division rival, 3 years, $23 million. Solid guy. I just care about him weekend the Cowboys. Matt Milano, 2-year extension. Solid linebacker, and he gets to stay there in Buffalo and continue to work with, which is gonna be his preference in quarterback, Josh Allen. Mike White coming over from the Jets, 2-year deal. Nice deal from them, from the division rival. Raheem Mostert staying there, 2-year, $5.6 million deal. And it just shows you the running backs are just devalued. Jeff Wilson also stays on a 2-year, $6 million deal. He gets a little bit more than him. Probably a little bit younger, but it just shows you. And this is a little bit surprised. David Long, 2-year, $11 million deal. Not very much for the former Titan, but he's a talented guy. Maybe he'll get a bigger contract in 2 years. Jalen Ramsey, the blockbuster trade coming from the Los Angeles Rams, 2023 third round pick this year, and Hunter Long, so a talented tight end coming along with him. And let's see, New England Patriots here. Let's see, any big signings? Not really. Jonathan Jones, their own free agent, re-signing 2-year, $20 million deal. Miscast as a slot guy last year, played on the outside, but they probably he has a versatility, he has experience now on the outside for the majority of the season. We'll see what they do with him, but talented corner. Big signing here, Alan Lazard coming over from the Packers, 4-year, $44 million deal. He gets more than I would say he's due for being a role player, but maybe they're teeing up for Aaron Rodgers to sign with them. Quincy Williams, solid linebacker, 3-year, $18 million deal. Chuck Clark, a big steal from the Baltimore Ravens, 2024 bottom round, 7th round pick. I mean, hey, that's big. Inter-conference trades. I mean, at least it's an interdivisional, but still you gotta take notice of that. AFC North news here: Lamar Jackson shirking a $133 million 3-year contract in favor of. It's $42 million a year, but he wants to get that at least probably Josh Allen money, $46 million a year. Trayvon Mullen re-signing with his cousin there in Baltimore. Talented corner there. They hold the fort down with the family there. Jermaine Pratt from the Cincinnati Bengals signing for 3 years, $20 million. I think he's a rising talent. So I mean, didn't get the $11 million mark, that high mark with the linebackers, but it's good money, and he's a solid guy. So they hold on to one of their own. Dalvin Tomlinson, a big signing here, 4-year, $57 million coming over from the Minnesota Vikings. Put his time in there. He's 29, years old, but still a talented guy in the middle there. He's 320 pounds plus, so he's gonna hold down the fort there in the middle. And then they add to that with the edge rusher, Obo Okoronkwo. Don't quote me on that. I forget where he's coming from, but 3 years, $19 million. I know that he's a talented guy. Coming from the Texans, Texans player. He gets his money, and they add to the edge there, like a low-key signing, but could be a big deal, especially with them trying to edge out or trying to get out the bottom of the cellar there. The Browns. Nate Herbig, a solid signing, 2-year, $8 million. He could possibly be on the upswing in his career. Patrick Peterson signed for a 2-year, $14 million deal. He's more of a hold the fort guy. So solid, but he's 33 years old as well. So, he's seen his better days in the league. But he had his second best pass rating in the league last year. So, all right, the AFC South here. Case Keenum value deal with a 2-year, $6.25 million deal coming over there to hold the clipboard for most likely the quarterback that the Houston Texans going to be taking at the top, one of those top 3 that they have figured into the equation. Noah Brown, stolen from the Cowboys again. Love to see it. Not that big of a deal, but any loss hurts. Robert Woods, the big signing here, 2 years, $15.25 million coming up for the Titans. And he didn't play so well last year, 50 receptions, 520 plus yards, but he's going to give them a boost there. Andrew Beck, 2 years, 6.75 million. Value signing. Big trade here. Shaq Mason coming over from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He followed Tom Brady from the New England Patriots to the Bucks. And a talented player, but I think they don't want to pay him salary, so kind of a salary dump in a move here. Chase Winovich, edge rusher, nice talent. Hassan Ridgeway, a former Eagle here, good plugger up the middle, 3.25 million. And Jimmy Ward, big signing coming over here from the 49ers. So we can that NFC, keep doing it. Samson Ebukam, again coming over from the 49ers. I like it. 3 years, 27 million. He has a high pressure rate and undervalued player there. Not by the 49ers, but they weren't going to overvalue him, so they let him sign for $9 million a year. EJ Speed re-signs 2 years, $9 million. Runs a 4.6, so he validates that speed. Jacksonville Jaguars re-signed CJ Beathard to a $4.5 million contract. It also gives them value depth there. Evan Ingram was on the franchise tag, so re-signs. Andrew Wingard, safety, he's re-signing, so a nice value for them, $9.6 million deal. So safety also another undervalued position. Andre Dillard, one of our Eagles that signed over with the Titans there, our first round draft pick that didn't work out because of Jordan Mailata, drafted in the seventh round, but really developed by Jeff Stoutland University, and he just molded and shaped him, and he came in and did the work as well though. So he would let him go, 3 year, $29 million. I would have pushed for at least that $1 million just to get a $10 million average. Uncle Sam's gonna take his $15 million, so you gotta get that. But yeah, it's gonna count towards a compensatory pick. So nice for us. Arden Key, underrated signing, stealing there from your division rival from the Jacksonville Jaguars, 3 years, $21 million deal. Nice. Azeez Al-Shaair coming over from the 49ers as well. Weakening that defense. Keep doing it. Love it. AFC West. Jarrett Stidham, 2 year, $10 million deal. Nice signing. Good backup. Samaj Perine. Good, good depth signing, to balance out. Because they have so many running backs there in Denver. That second year back is coming back as well. Highly talented guys. Ben Powers with a big contract here. 4 year, $52 million deal. I mean, that's huge. I think he stole them from the Ravens, I want to say. And then another big O-line signing here. They're going big. The Denver Broncos here trying to, support Russell Wilson in whatever ways they can. 5 years, $87.5 million deal. $50 million guaranteed. That's huge. The 49ers weren't going to overvalue him, and he saw the writing on the wall that, they're going to let me go. So get that big contract. And then another lineman here, big D lineman coming from Arizona. Zach Allen, kind of a tweener between a 3-4 DN and a 4-2 DN and D tackle, 285. I mean, he's a nice size, though. I think he's like 6'3", 3 year, $45.75 million contract. So nice signing for him. Alex Singleton, this surprised me. As former Eagles dump off, because was it scheme? It just didn't have the talent in playing on defense. But he's re-signed here, 3 years, $18 million. Can't be mad at him. Big signing by the Kansas City Chiefs, the reigning champions. Got to give credit to them, man. They beat the Eagles. I don't say it was fair and square because of that field, but, they got the ring, so they achieved a dream. Bars. Jawan Taylor coming over from the Jacksonville Jaguars, 4 years, $80 million, and they're going to switch him over from right tackle most likely to left tackle. You don't pay him that kind of money just to stick him at right tackle because they're letting their own free agent, forget the kid's name, left tackle, he letting him go because he just kind of giving them headaches with salary compensation over the years, and they're not going to franchise tag him a year 2 years in a row, even though it could have been for the average what they just gave out, $20 million. But nah, let him go. Charles Omenihu, I forget where he's coming from. I want to say the Bengals, but probably wrong. 2 year contract with a max value of $20 million. So that nice little cheap signing there, and they're probably moving on from Frank Clark. Gave him nice production, but hasn't been the same since he that first year. I want to say maybe even the second year he was nice as well. All right, Las Vegas Raiders making some big changes here. Jimmy Garoppolo coming over on a 3 year, $72.75 million deal from the 49ers. And they're kind of stealing from him here, though, because, Josh Jacobs, put him on the franchise tag. Jacoby Myers signed on a 3 year, $33 million, weakening the Patriots there. And then Marcus Epps also stole an Eagle from us, 2 years, $12 million. People around the league value this guy. I think he was a solid starter for us, but just not spectacular. and wasn't great, especially with the talent around him. I believe he could have done more. But also, you got to look at the coordinator and putting him in spots to be successful as well. I believe, a mix and match of different things there. But, yeah, man, this is just great. They just traded Darren Waller away, the tight end, and then you can't. Devontae Adams cannot be happy with things going down the way they are over there in Vegas. They're gambling. All right, Los Angeles Chargers not making a couple big moves here, but big one bringing in Eric Kendricks, 2-year deal worth $13.25 million. The former All-Pro moving over from the Vikings to the West Side. Not too far actually, but he's still a talented player. Gonna give him a couple more seasons of good to greatness. Not the fastest linebacker, but man, he from the neck above he plays fast. And they also have their mini running back, Mini Sproles, forget his name, dangling his trade bait. He's not happy. The NFC East, Tony Pollard, retained on the franchise tag. Leighton Van Der Esch re-signing on a 2-year, $11 million deal. That seems to be like a copycat deal that's going around the league. And you'll see in 2 years what he gets. Stephen Gilmore, the big trade coming over from the Colts, fifth round compensatory pick. And they got to eat that salary, though. He's like, I think, at $20 million plus a year, something like that. So I don't know how they're going to do that, but they're really trying to set up that secondary for success. You can see here, Dan Quinn gets another piece, 3-year, $24 million deal with the Cowboys, re-signing him, Donovan Wilson. I think he's a above average, a slightly above average safety. They could have done better, but just going with what they know, and he's a comfortable safety in their system, and he plays solidly. I think he had 100 tackles, 5 sacks. So very good dude, but I think the Eagles can do him over. The Giants going with big splash plays here. Of course, they signed Daniel Jones to a 4-year, $160 million deal. Saquon Barkley was retained on the franchise tag. Matt Breida re-signed. Sterling Shepard re-signed on a cheap $1.3 million deal. Obviously, I said earlier they brought in Darren Waller, so they're going big or going home, trying to give this guy all the pieces around him. Re-signed Nunez Roches, which was a little bit of a reach. Not really a talented guy. I think they gave him like $4 million a season. And Gerard Davis re-signed with the team. And nice, it's about the value pickups here. Bobby Okereke signed over from a 4-year, $40 million contract. I forget where he comes from, but talented dude. Jamie Gillen, they could have upgraded, but they believe in him. Maybe mistakes he made against us in the playoffs. A couple, I think a shank or like a drop kick was just like the kick was actually illegal. They believe in him, so they believe he'll get it done. We already went over the Eagles. Andrew Wiley coming over from the Chiefs, 3-year, $24 million contract. He gave up 9 sacks last year, so I'm like, I think we'll beat him like a turnstile, so appreciate you. Deron Payne signing on a 4-year, $90 million contract, $21+ million a year, so he gets a huge signing, $45 million guaranteed. Nice. Cody Barton, David Mayo signed a 1-year deal and then 1-year extension. Cameron Dancer, claimed off the waiver, so nice by them. And then Byron Murphy, the big signing here, 2 years, $22 million coming up from the Arizona Cardinals. So they're really trying to boost that secondary there to deal with, first you got to win the division, the interdivisional opponents you have in there in the NFC East. NFC North, man, the Bears had that, big trade from first overall pick to jumping out the 9th, trading with the Carolina Panthers. They get Nate Davis here, a solid guard, offensive guard, 3-year, $30 million contract. Let's see, Tremaine Edwards, big signing here, 4-year, $72 million contract, $50 million guaranteed, huge, but he still didn't get the money that the Ravens gave their former linebacker, I forget his name. And I also said TJ Edwards, $19.5 million contract. The Lions stole the Bears starting running back, 3 years, $18 million, so nice for them. And then Cameron Sutton coming up from Steelers, 3-year, $33 million contract. So, they're really trying to beef up that secondary. And they have, Okuda, so this might be a sign that they're not going to take Gonzalez, and I would welcome that. I really want the Eagles to take him, so we'll see. Green Bay Packers just re-signed Keyshawn Nixon. Damn, Packers, y'all slumming over here. Garrett Bradbury signed for a 3-year, 3-year deal worth 15.75, so he's kind of underrated. I don't know where he's coming from. But the big signing here, 1 year, $13 million contract for Marcus Davenport, coming over from the Saints. Weekend an NFC opponent, talented Mercurial guy. 2 seasons ago, he had 9 sacks, I think 9.5, his career best, but then he had like a sack or something like that and a half. Last season, 2 sacks, because so very low, but they're kind of on that bounce back effort. NFC South here, Taylor Heineke signed over for the Redskins, 2-year deal worth $20 million. He got money here, and really being paid for the experience that he gained this year and that moxie he has, so he can start and get put in quality starts anytime. Jonas Smith acquired in a trade from the New England Patriots, talented tight end coming over from a lowly 7th round pick, so big steal from them. Caleb McGarry re-signing on a 3-year, $34.5 million contract. I mean, just good value for them. They didn't overpay too much, kept one of their own, and he knows the system, so awesome. Chris Lindstrom, the big signing, 5-year, $105 million extension. Man, just a huge signing. I don't know where he's coming from, but man, I know he's a talented guy. I know the name Lindstrom. David Onyemata, 3-year, $35 million contract coming over from the Bengals. Nice steal from them. Caden Ellis, talented linebacker, I think rising talent. Yeah, from the Saints. 3-year, $21.5 million contract. So not the going rate, like I said, for those linebackers, but more of a mid deal for those linebackers instead of getting $11 million mark. That is like a high mark for a linebacker there. It's above average, high above average. Jesse Bates, another big signing here, 4-year, $64.02, so $16 million mark, hitting that, and he got paid. The Bengals didn't want to pay, so the NFC South bottom feeder, Atlanta Falcons, trying to beef up their secondary to deal with the core wide receivers they're going to face there in the NFC South, and trying to guard those guys. Andy Dalton coming over as a clipboard holder, 2-year, $11 million deal. He really is going to give whoever the Panthers probably draft there some valuable ear advice. And let's see, Von Bell signed a deal with the Panthers, not too big of a deal. Shy Tuttle, under the radar signing, a talented guy, but he was had for the cheap, 3 years, $19.5 million. The New Orleans Saints, big signing here. Derek Carr, 4-year, $150 million signing, coming up from the Raiders. They released him, and he's going to be top quarterback in that division now. James Winston re-signing on a 1-year deal with a max value of $8 million to be his caddy, Derek Carr's. So Michael Thomas signing a new 1-year, $10 million contract. I mean, he's kind of got to stay healthy and see what he can do. Jawan Johnson re-signed a 2-year, $12 million contract, and a talented tight end there. So a nice signing for them. JT Gray, don't know a lot about him, to be honest. 3-year, 9.6, so value signing. Jamel Dean re-signing with the Buccaneers. All right, then we get to our last division here. The NFC West, Corey Clement re-signed on a 1-year deal. Kevin Beacham signed on a 2-year, $5.15 million contract, even after he badmouthed Toddler Murray. I mean, he said, the guy just needs to mature and grow up before he can really show some true leadership skills. And I think we'll see that come out to bear. Will Hernandez, talented, solid guy at guard there. Re-signed on a 2-year, $9 million deal. Kizzer White said it earlier. Re-signed, brought over from the Eagles from a 2-year deal. All right, Hunter Long, only brought in by the trade. They have no capital, no trade capital, no picks really. The Los Angeles Rams got to ride this draft out and get what they can and stop trying to mortgage the future. They already got their chip, so now it's time to rebuild the natural way. And the San Francisco 49ers, Sam Darnold coming over a 1-year, $4.5 million deal. He's a challenge. Brock Purdy, he's on pace most likely to recover on time. 3 months of rest, and then 3 months after that he can resume throwing after that UCL surgery after the Eagles put him out. So nice signing for them under the radar. Jake Brindall, 4 years, $20 million. So a nice re-signing of their own talent. Javon Hargrave, the real splash signing here, 4 years, $84 million. Man, I mean, that was gut punch to the Eagles. But get your money, man. Thank you, Gravedigger, for what you did over there. Sean Gibson, a low key signing, good signing, 1 year, $2.9 million. Again, underscoring the value of safeties in this league. And 49ers don't have that much money, so I'm just like, they're digging themselves their own grave. Seattle Seahawks, really a big splasher here in free agency. Re-signed Geno Smith, 3 years, $75 million. And not that big of a contract, to be honest. It has a max value of $105 million. Okay, I was like, 3 years, $175 million. That's super low. But trying to bank on that success. They still could go with the quarterback, but really seeing if he can replicate that season he just had. Draymond Jones, 3 years, $51.53. Big splash signing from the Denver Broncos. But they lost the lineman and they're bringing in one. So Jerron Reed, they signed him on a 2-year deal with a max value of 10.8, under the radar signing. And some shifting and moving there going on in Seattle, but they made some big splash plays. And that's where we'll stop the video today, man. Hoping that we sign C.J. Gardner-Johnson. We'll see what news is available. But, man, it's been a fast rendition for me as much as I can. It was 30 minutes. Nobody's going to watch the freaking video. You're not even watching this. It's all good, though, because I love to do it. Don't do it for you. I do it for you, but I don't do it for you at the same time. Anyways, as always, it's Fly, Eagles, Fly, and let's motherfucking go! Like, comment, share, and subscribe if you like. Thanks for watching. Check me out at Cintron, Cintron Anime, Cintron Life, or Cintron Laughs, or other social media.